Three, two, one. Hajimemashite. This is Waifu Wars, and we're back, and then we're here to talk about the ban list. I have Pay3forHanayo, Jenna, and we have special guest Terry. You might have known him from that one time we talked about the last ban list video with uh, Railgun getting unrestricted and such. So.
Oh, you play Railgun too, yo? Shit.
Yep.
Hey.
But if you guys haven't noticed, about the ban list, basically Gochi Yusa got hit with their 3-2 finisher, the burn 1, and then also their 1-0 anti-change. It's pretty good, but yeah, those are now on the pick 2 list, and then also Raku got unrestricted for Nisakoi. But yeah, that's pretty much the ban list update. Thank you guys for watching. Bye. I'm just kidding. But yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on the ban list initially with the changes, quote unquote changes?
I expected Gochu to get hit because everyone was shit talking how it would. I don't know if everybody was predicting this, but I don't know anything about it, so I just assumed that it's the correct choice. And as for Nisekoi, the card's pretty dated, so I don't know. I don't think it's gonna affect very much for them.
I mean, at least I'm not entirely surprised on the Gochi Yusa hit, because they were the most represented deck in Japan. I think last time I saw it, they were about like 45-46% for trios. So by far the most. And so with that kind of hit, at least that's a good hit, because they take away the means for defense that was kind of preventing interaction at level 2 when they would follow up with the really nice finisher. So it's like, all right, they're allowing more interaction from the opponent to keep themselves in the game, which makes it actually changes a lot, really, because I think against stuff like Rewrite, among others, they actually have a pretty significant level 2 game, so they can't as easily maintain the field against them and parry. So yeah, I think that actually would make a difference. And then, granted, we got Kimono Friends coming out too, so that might change that as well.
Yeah, I actually expected no changes, but with these changes, I can see why they hit the cards that they did. Well, for Rabbits at least, because like you said, like it kind of removes like some of the defensive options for Rabbits that they had. That anti-change counter is probably like the best set counter they've printed in a while, in my opinion.
Wait, what was the exact
it's pretty overstacked for what it's worth. I mean, it's one less stock than your standard one, so that is pretty good.
Is it pay
pay 1, sack 1, anti-change, and then your opponent gets a
level 0.
Level 0? Yeah, level 0.
Oh, okay. So it gives them the 0, like the Nico.
Yeah. So they get another stock, since they can still attack with that level 0, but that's like not too big of a downside.
Yeah,
for how
compared
strong
to getting
that
hit.
counter is.
Yeah, with like a 2.
And at level 1.
Yeah, generally you do it, and they'll lose the stock unless they attack with it first. So they'd still get 3-4 stock in the end.
Yeah, it depends on how they did their attack orders. And then obviously Nisekoi, it's like that set's pretty outdated at this point.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to say. It's like you look back a couple of years ago, it's like, wow, Nisekoi fucking just destroying everything right now, and it's like, wow, where has it been since then? It's like nowhere.
I think it's like last year, the Sweets build was still doing well, but it's been, I think, pretty well power crept. I think the biggest problem is I think the ban list is kind of a little problematic for them, because really the thing that's kind of making all these cards on the list is that early drop Kozaki, because it's allowing you to grab all these different cards, and it's like, well, I think the problem is more the Kozaki than necessarily these other cards. So it's like, if you swapped the Kozaki with the Marika, I think that would make a little more sense. And then you put the Free Fresh on a choose 1 or 2 with it. And then I think you can take most of that off the ban list just fine. I mean, the Raku is just an efficiency card. You're just one extra stock is going to be saved over the promo, so I don't really think that mattered to be on there one way or another at this point.
My initial thoughts on the like ban list is that like how they started or how they're doing with rabbits for pick 1 out of 2. I feel like it's kind of like a warning to like people who are playing rabbits, like oh this and like in JP land for like trios and whatever official tourneys, like if they keep on representing it's like similar to like how Monogatari, like the next ban list will just add onto more cards. That's what I'm thinking that Bushiroad's trying to do, just to like kind of like like shove people off of like just playing only rabbits or whatever. And like
yeah, it's definitely like a slap on the wrist for them, like kind of as like a warning.
Yeah, and then like honestly, like I agree with you guys saying about Raku, like that's off the ban list. Like what Jimmy was saying earlier, how you can now play like the Marika 107K basically if you have a Raku on the field, right?
Yeah, they have that option now since they got the Raku back for the support, the back row.
Yeah. Even then, it's like whatever, I guess. And like to be honest, like, and I also agree with like Terry with how like the early drop Kurosaki like really did affect these cards that are for Nisekoi that's on the list. But even now, I feel like with Nisekoi, like Kurosaki as an early drop isn't that like scary anymore as she is like back then as well. So I feel like
I agree with that for sure.
Especially
it's still the main power play for them. I think it's still
she's definitely
still early drops go.
Yeah.
But I mean,
yeah, she's definitely still a solid early drop. But it's just like if you compare her, like when she came out to now, it's just like every set has early drops. So
yeah, but which one actually tutors on summon? They don't see too many of those, and also two soul pressure on a pretty large character. So I think it's
I would say her power's like in spec of what most early plays are nowadays. She's like 10-5, right? Basically.
Yeah, before assist.
Yeah, just for 3+. I mean, I think usually the stuff was drawn to discard one. If they had an effect, that kind of similar +1. So, I mean, it's still, I think, their best card, that's for sure. And I think if you restrict the number of that, then you can bring back a lot of those power cards in plays, which are the problem. I mean, really, the thing is probably just a free fresh. Just a self-tutoring free fresh is a little strong.
Yeah, it's basically that play where it's like between the two, the early play Kozaki and the free fresh. Because you could like just search out the free fresh after early playing, or vice versa.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't think the market really matters
too much. Free fresh and then play your early play.
Yeah, honestly, I would have been fine if Marco went to 2 or something.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Nisekoi doesn't have like finishers basically. Like it's just Marika and like I guess the cancel burn Chitoge pretty much for like the key build for the most part.
Or the top deck Chitoge, like if you reverse something.
Or the top deck one, yeah. So like basically those 3 cards are their finishers, and it's like you look at finishers nowadays, they're like way more crazy.
Yeah.
Or at least they have another one. I mean, they just have one good finisher, and they need like a second one. That's for sure. I mean, just having the single one makes it so things can go wrong pretty easily with that deck. And you just lose it, goes to stock, goes to clock, it just goes somewhere, and you have to like go grab it. They definitely need more of them. That's for sure.
Yeah, or if like you just don't get the Marika off, like you just don't get the reverse, because isn't she just base 10k?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's just like it's really hard to reverse level 3s nowadays with just base 10k.
Yeah, effectively she's more like a just like on attack burn one at this point with how the meta has changed. But yeah, that's pretty much what I think our opinions are on the initial changes. But we can now open up to the discussion with like the ban list in general, like what should have been like maybe taken out or what we were hoping what could have been on the list as well. We can start off with CG since like
no, keep it that way. I just don't like to see inferior idols do well, so
Honestly, I feel like Miria doesn't need to be on the list.
Oh yeah, the Ricky. I don't care about the Ricky, but like that jank ass fucking emo bitch. No.
Kume.
I was gonna say like
that other.
I think CG still fine to have, but
card.
I guess Miria could come off and it wouldn't make too much of an impact for this. Like, it would definitely help the set a lot, but it wouldn't, like, put it over the top again or anything.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, at least if you bring that back, then you can get the other builds to play it. I mean, they're still having Triacrima's top over Japan as a rogue deck, so I don't know if they would really want to touch it at this point, but I mean, at least with that card, it helps all the other decks and not so much just Triacrima's.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, it'd be healthy, like.
Okay, but the important question about Idolmaster: when are we getting the Side M Weiss Schwarz set?
When more Fujoshi's play the game.
No, that shit's getting an anime. I would actually fucking buy it if it had a set.
I guess.
Because y'all don't understand the true good shit in Cinderella Girl, or I'm sorry, what the fuck, in Idolmaster.
I'm pretty sure Local Doll is like the best idol anime, so I'm still waiting for that set.
Original, I mastered this one.
I'm pretty sure that's shit, but alright.
We can talk about Monogatari now as well.
I would really like the Drop Searcher experience to come off.
Yeah, I think at least, if anything, the Drop Searcher could probably come off. I mean, it is a little bit overspec than what the standard Drop Searchers are, but I mean, in the context of when they hit it, it was already falling out of favor, and it was just kind of more of a representation hit than actually a major hit to anything else, combo-wise or field-wise. I mean, you could also probably bring back the bouncing middle schooler Shinobu. Then at least Mono Yellow can actually play with it.
I think that Shinobu should definitely stay on the list like that.
I mean, that'd be like the next thing down after that. But
it's just like I know a lot of sets have that effect. It's just like the way that effect interacts with other cards from Monogatari is just way too good. Or pretty much just bouncing back like your Asasas are just way too good.
Well, I mean, yeah, and it could bring back the Shinobu Kaze. You can do that combo again. I think it mostly helps more the yellow build. I don't think it really works as well with the stock charge stuff. I mean, I get because you're not keeping as much of a feel with that, and you don't run the level 1 combo. So,
well, they played that in the stock charge build. It was yellow green, like splash.
Well, I mean, if you play the green, a lot of them are just doing just the Azusa or Akatsuki with the bomb, and that's just the entire level 1 game. They just play just a bunch of zeros that go into stock or somewhere else. So, the mono yellow one that ain't more like to play the bouncing Shinobu. I mean, I think you still play it in the other build, but it kind of
they definitely played in the other build. They played every card that was on that band was in the yellow green build. That's pretty much why they're all on there right now.
Poor Monogatari.
I think that drop is a true off though, and like it went in.
Yeah, stock charge and the Noi healing cancel winner. No, those two probably need to be on the choose one too. That's too good of a combo.
I think as long as like CG and Monogatari remains on the JP list, I feel like English won't be getting these cards as well. That's why I also kind of want them to like slowly unrestrict them. Unrestrict some cards.
It's unfortunate that like such a shitty freaking set that so many people love, like Series 4, like finally got like the cards and like goodness that it deserves, and then it's like snipped its fucking just all the power off of it.
Because honestly, if we had
not that it's fucking awful, but I mean it's good. Neutered as fuck.
I think the meta in English right now would be more interesting if like we had like unrestricted CG and unrestricted and Monogatari because fuck Isaiah, like I'm tired of seeing that shit in English.
And it's like, come on, like anyone that thinks Monogatari 2 or CG 2 would like be way too overbearing for English is fucking retarded, because right now this English meta is just oversaturated with fucking.
I think it's
like, well, why not bring 2 sets that could shape up the meta and like give you more options for decks that can top and not just see the same.
I just think
it would suppress the entire meta by themselves. Yeah.
I think it's for consistency's sake as well. I mean, like, why even bother printing those cards if there's going to be like some discourse over it? Because, like, yeah, people want these cards, but at the same time, they're going to be like, well, why are you printing these cards that we can't play in Japanese and all that? But like, it's inconsistent. As much as like I want sets to come out, like, and I don't want them to come out with like fucked cards because imagine like. You know, they release older sets and stuff. And what happens if they take the cards off the ban list? Then English is never going to get them. So, like, for stuff like Haruhi, like, if they ever happen to take those cards off the ban list, which I honestly don't really see why they're still there. But, yeah, if they happen to take those off, then English just doesn't have them. Like, not like it would fucking do anything, but...
Well, I mean, I think Busher has kind of acknowledged that they made a mistake when they made those... made the sets for Macquarie Season 2 and the CG2 one as well, because those were the most consistent decks in the game. I mean, they were the best of Standard too. So I think you have to be a little careful bringing it over to English at full power, because they would pretty suppress the meta.
I think it'd be fine. Maybe you have more decks in the top fucking deck choices that you can play in.
I mean, what's going to keep up with them? Because Conte, if they're just keeping Conte at that same level, I mean, it was a 3-horse meta.
I mean, Conte pretty much just stops everything that Macquarie would want to do when it's unrestricted.
What?
I just think it's funny because
Hatsukaze and Hibiki, right?
Like Japan literally played doors, and then they played
yours.
They played doors just to play doors, and they played 8 healers. Like Conte stops all of that.
I mean, the doors are just kind of there for the when you're finishing combo. If you ran that as another burner, but I mean, that wasn't for salvage.
For the ban list, they played 4 of the Bakemono healer Hitagis, and then 4 of the Mayoi Mayoi.
Well, that was for the yellow.
And they just played doors for doors. They didn't play any combo with the door. Well, I mean, it did combo, but they didn't like really use it. It was just there as a trigger.
Yeah, but I mean, that's not, you don't rely on that as advantage. You have advantage to the other means, so it doesn't really stop their advantage engine.
No, it doesn't, but like it kind of stops like that build that Japan was like.
Not really. I mean, because I said your advantage comes off of the level 1 advantage combo.
Well, I think like English Kantai is like more wall based as well, like the what's it called, the Taige the Taiges. So
I don't know. I just think
that Kaze would be kind of hard to reverse switch.
I mean, those things are going at 6-5 when they were attacking with the climax before any other boosts. So I mean, that was pretty legitimate. I mean, if we're talking about the yellow build initially, I mean the secondary build later on, that's a different story. But
I definitely feel like if we got these newer like unrestricted like versions of these like big dog sets, like Kantai would just go away completely because, well, not completely, but it would definitely see a decline because you look at JP, you see JP and like honestly Kantai is like, you look at when Kantai came out, I mean they're pretty fucking outdated in English right now, like to be honest, but. And, like, even in Japan, like, the new set doesn't really do that much to, like,
bring it back to the... But I mean, got hits. I don't want to
but it did.
Well, the new set kind of makes the current ban list a little redundant for them because they don't run a lot of that anymore.
Oh, yeah, we can talk, we can talk about Kantai now as well since that's a good segue. Yeah. Kantai right now in JP, I think, is depressing. It's like, I wouldn't even consider it as, like, a top 10 deck.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it... just not all these big things just got like cut down completely. So
well, it says more tops than Monogatari though. Just funny.
I think it's just the persistency of JP players representing the JP land with their KC cards.
Yeah, they do kind of have a bit of an incestuous metagame.
But yeah, at the time, like, it made sense to also hit Inazuma because that's a good utility card for like Kantai. But like it's like right now it really hurts Kantai. Like anything like if I feel like if they want to like start making Kantai a bit better, just like as a slow change, just take out Inazuma in the next list, and I'd be okay with that.
Nah, boys, just bring back Junyu. It's fine.
No.
I'm just fucking kidding.
Some people were actually saying that, like, oh, let's just take out Jinyu. It's just an extra, like, soul.
No,
Like, that's not gonna make a big difference. Like,
We
that's
don't judge
stupid.
People who
I
fucking
mean,
figure it
Shimoda Friend's got a soul assist. Why not? Like, who cares?
Yeah, but
Still
Jinyu
gotta
is
bring it.
global.
Yeah, that's the next thing though, because freaking Kingdom got one as well, but that doesn't mean shit. It means what the other stuff on the card says.
Imagine 2 Jinyos in the back row, like, fuck, everything has 3 souls. Or, like, your level 0s and 1s have 3 souls. That's stupid, retarded.
Yeah, Kantai is definitely in a broken state, I would say.
Broken as in, like,
just,
sad.
losing to Duma just, like, hurt a lot. Well, I mean, unless you play it, but, like, I don't know, there's the new choice for them just hurt them a lot. And, like, it was pretty much, I guess, needed since Akagi Kai was basically irrelevant at the choice of 3.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, if I looked at Rishiward, I'd be that guy, like, to suggest, let's take out Hatsukaze, because, like, if you see a lot of JP decks, like, fucking, what, Konosuba, like Goddess build, like, they just ran 8 gates, like,
yeah, no, but, like, they're back to, like, playing doors just to play the door.
And or healers just to play healers.
Like, TLR's obviously played a lot, and they still have it, so...
And Dog Days.
So I guess it would be fair for Kantai to have theirs back, but...
Like, right now...
Well, Dog Days is a little...
Did you just bring up Dog Days, Jimmy?
That was a meme.
Yeah, I played Dog Days. That's why I'm like,
I like Dog. I wish I could get the deck.
Yeah, but the reason why they're running 8 doors or, like, 8 healers or whatever is because there really isn't an anti-heal, anti-salvage in JP right now. There's Kill a Kill, but that's, like... I feel like Kill a Kill is, like, not really... I mean, it's good, or whatever, it's, like... not more represented than other decks.
they're
I
just
don't
not
care.
playing.
I don't care if you're saying there's no anti-salvage and, like, TLR's still played.
No one plays Tularu in Japan land, though.
No one plays Tularu in Japan.
Whatever.
They got kind of an odd meta. I mean,
It's
not a
like Moto Fight, you know, like.
But yeah, and
So yes, I say this. You go on the next set for the ban list we talk about, like the Capo. Why is that still?
Are we going to go in order, or are we just going to go?
we forgot LB, Little Busters.
No, bring back Action Mask. It's fine. I don't think Rust needs to come off. I mean,
no,
Rust is low production.
like, I don't even know why we have to talk about Rust. Like,
Yeah, Rust is
Hold on now.
it's nice that they got a new promo though, Little Busters, and they deserve it.
But Action Bastard,
I mean,
Yeah, bring it
he is
back.
searchable. They probably could bring it up to like
2.
2, and then just slowly move it up. I mean,
Yeah,
the set isn't gonna ever do anything, so I don't think it matters. It's just kind of like at the time it was more of a principle hit.
he's
Because
off.
It's like, oh, wow, we have like 105K beat sticks, and now we brought a 107.5 beat stick, and I'm like, wait, what?
He's off trait.
Yeah, but it has 2
Two
soul.
soul.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean, two soul.
he's
I think it's still pretty good, but
Yeah. he's off trait, but he's also
really
off
good
color.
at 4. Like, if the card's at 4, like, yes, keep it. Like,
If you-
yeah, you can't. If it was exploitable and you could search it, like, I'd understand that, but I don't know. It's pretty
Shin-chan, they're like when I see the deck list, like their level 1 combos or whatever, their other combos are mostly like yellow or green for like their early game or whatever. So it's also an off color for like their like level 1 or
Yeah.
level 2 game. So I feel like it could like get to 2 or 3 or whatever.
I mean, I feel like if they brought it back, it would definitely still be played at
Yeah.
2 or 3 or 4. But
I think they played whatever number they would, but they wouldn't ever do anything. I mean, the deck still has like 1 good card per level kind of problem right now.
yeah, and it's never gonna get support. I don't think so.
Yeah, it's not.
No, I think
Maybe they'll just come out of the blue and give it a fucking power up set, and it's the stupidest shit in the world. But I don't see that happening.
Well, if it's within 2 years, that's why they always done the power upsets. So it's a little over 2 years all up.
Yeah.
I just think Shin-chan is interesting and funny, so I like to see it get something.
To be honest, I think the only reason why Shin-chan got a set was because they also had the movie at the time when it came. So that, and like I think some of the cards are from the movie, so that's why we might as well put something like a TV show and a movie in the same version.
I'm not super knowledgeable about it, so I don't know, but
Yeah,
I'll
never.
just know what you said is correct.
Shining Force.
That's about right. Yeah.
Shining Force is like The Cyro doesn't need to be on the list.
What is that card?
That card's pretty strong. I mean,
Wait,
that's more of a principal hit.
Using that card to like other sets that came out, like Konosuba, and like fucking play it.
Essentially, that card is, I believe it's like a global effect. If your characters are canceled or attack is canceled, then you heal. You can pay 2 and heal. So
okay.
It's just 2 rest of self heal, and then she has another effect I don't remember, but I know she has that pay 2 rest self heal. It's like Konosuba got that. Do you play it? No. Is this like an overbearing effect? No.
Let's see.
Unless there's some wombo combo and Shining Resonance with this card that I don't know about.
Okay, so her other effect is when your character is being attacked, you choose one of your characters and it gets 1k for the turn.
Oh man, fucking broken. And then pay 2 rest self heal, right?
No, it's just pay 2. You don't rest it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you just keep doing it, which that's kind of a little.
I mean, Shining as a set is like.
I think I agree with that statement. Like, they don't want people to think that kind of card is like something that they want to keep doing. Is the Konosuba one rest itself, Jimmy?
I want to say.
Yeah, like every other card that has that effect is rest.
Yeah, so that's clearly why they did it.
Okay, I thought that was rest. Though.
I mean,
okay, so when the damage by your character is canceled, you may pay cost heal 1. So yeah, whenever a damage is canceled by one of your characters, you pay 2 and heal.
I just think Shining as a set isn't like scary or anything, so I just want to see it taken out the list. So it gives some people.
Yeah, I don't think it would do anything. I played against Shining Resonance a couple times, and I was like, "Is this supposed to do something?" Some like Vanguard Dragon on like the other side of the field, and I was like, "Does that do anything?" Oh, I canceled because you're trying to burn for like 6. Okay, cool.
Twice, yeah. Milky Holmes. I feel like Cornelius Grind is okay on the list, to be honest, because like Milky does a decent job at like trying to survive. So giving them another card to like even outlast more is like kind of good, like kind of really.
It's awkward though because it's the wrong color than what you would try to play in your meta.
Index has the same card except it's a counter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, there's other things too which are on there. I mean, heck, you can look at that xylophone fortune telling into Capo, and it's level 2 heal 2.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not, and it doesn't anywhere in clock, so that's already better than Cordelia's Garden. I mean, I think it's more like there's some memory set for standard decks, but it's like some kind of leftover thing from standard.
Recently, well, I don't know if JP, like, I know that recently there's one Milky list I got top that I think it was rainbow colored, so or whatever. But some people like I know outside of JP, like some people are starting to like tech out or tech in blue or whatever, like for a defensive build. I personally don't like it because I think Milky does a better job at like trying to finish the game because you have like a shit ton of stock and you can just like search for whatever you want or salvage what you need to like end your opponent like based on the matchup. But yeah, I can see why Cordelian's card can like go out of the list.
It's just like the other blue cards aren't as great, or they have to require a different trade. So
yeah,
you're playing it mostly in a different deck, and it works completely different. It's not nearly as good as the main one. So I don't think it really matters, but I mean, whatever. I mean, the heal event's been on there for so long. It's kind of like you get used to it at this point.
All these cards have been on here. Well, yeah, like they've been on here for so long. It's like, still there, whatever.
Haruhi, the event, the 2-0 event's on there for because of the how Bushiroad's mentality of how they want the game to be with like how climax is.
Well, they just don't want climax destruction then.
Yeah,
but there's climax destruction cards in the game though.
They don't interact.
Like I get that the other one needs like an actual climax card in your hand to trigger it as level 3, and that's just a 2-0 event, which actually sounds really good. Like that card actually sounds good. I think that's the only Haruhi card I've read and been like, that's kind of.
What the? Oh yeah, the 2 events.
Yeah, the killer, the climax killer card. But like, I mean, I think is Gilgamesh the only other climax kill card?
I think there was another card, right?
I believe so, yeah.
But I know his cost is like way steeper than that. Like obviously 2-0 is fucking crazy for that.
The Gilgamesh requires you to discard the 2K one.
Yeah.
I think
I don't remember if it costs any stock. I know you have to discard the climax though.
Cost 2 stock. Gilgamesh.
Well, yeah, I know that the card itself is, but I mean...
There was another card that they were thinking about restricting was the 3/2 green and Haruhi that like I think if you
that was the
the
Mikuru and
like
climax.
Yeah, your opponent can't play climax of next turn, which is whatever. But Haruhi in general as a set is like depressing already. Like even I think when it well like I don't know.
Just don't even think about it.
Yeah.
Just give them it's not gonna do anything.
Honestly, if they want to be even remotely competitive, they need to give them all the stuff back. And even then, it's like I think you're at best kind of semi-competitive because you'll need the World of Faded Colors for the hand fixing and the advantage to balance out some of their consistency issues, and it makes the Brigade Chief deck a lot better. But they still have a problem that the power up stuff helps them, but that level 3 is still problematic. I mean, and then you need that defensive tool in that disabling of information complex.
I also checked the Gilgamesh is pay 1, so it's pay 1 discard climax. So
almost free.
I mean, it's still really good, but like you still have to play the like a vanilla 3/2 healer to get the effect. I mean, it's pretty good though. I don't know.
Nothing wrong with vanilla.
It's not doing anything. It's not doing anything like crazy though, because it's not even being played. So
yeah.
Doesn't matter because that card's a lot more impressive because it's a fucking 2/0 event backup. Like, yeah.
Yeah, no, that backup's definitely
of course it's
sure.
Yeah, I could, but I think that the swing should get taken off. But I don't know anything about Haruhi, nor do I care. So, even if Haruhi had that climax card, like, it wouldn't even do anything.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, mainly it's just you're gonna try to get a bunch of your level 3s, and then you get like a Haruhi level 0. I think it's either a brainstorm or something. One of the Brigade Chief ones that you would do with that, and that's kind of all it really does. And the power-up set means you just get some better cards, and you can at least set up a field more proper. But it just does a lot on one card.
Yeah, it's true.
But would the set do anything? No.
No, I don't think that. But I understand.
I mean, I
understand the thought set behind banning it, but I'm just let dinosaurs be at their full potential so that people can know how bad they are.
I feel like if we have decks that can like outlast and like they can heal loop and like gate trigger and shit like that, like every single turn or whatever, then I feel like the swing is okay to come off. Like and like when they hit that event card, like people could have played it anyways, but it had no like Haruhi had no representation regardless.
Well, no, when it was hit, no, it was definitely a big deck, but
no, I'm talking about the
they
event.
slaughtered everything.
Yeah, but like
they obliterated all kinds of decks. They obliterated Railgun in that deck.
So was that at a time when it was newer for like banning stuff, so they just kind of like went crazy?
That was the first major one.
Like Nisei Mono were like the top 3 decks. Just
Nisei Mono was on the ban list.
Like they blew up the Sky Apps. But they destroyed the Sky. They destroyed. I think Rewrite. Idolmaster got hit then.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I only remember some of it, but I do remember the IMAX.
And Haruhi just got absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, it was like 2 level 3s on there, and they lost World of Fate.
All their level 3s were on there.
What the hell?
Yeah, they put every single one of their level 3s.
Jeez. Damn, I wish I had a time machine so I could watch this shit.
It was like choose one of 4 and then a band of the event. It was like, oh my god.
So they could only have one like level 3, like that's
how
it started.
They blew up that deck.
Was that like base Haruhi before EV, or did they have EV?
Yeah, BB. Because it was 2 Nagatos and Haruhi burner level 3 that also heals. And then yeah.
Jeez, what the fuck? Man, back in the day when they thought Haruhi was a threat.
It wasn't a threat.
Well, yeah, I mean, I understand that, but like you look at stuff now, it's like laughable. Like,
I mean, it's this point.
Obviously.
I mean, you think that was the August 2012 ban list, and what year is it? 2017. Like 5 years later, still about the same.
Yeah.
You guys forgot about the last set that's on the ban list, Persona.
Stop, we're not even there yet.
That's the only set we haven't talked about. We talked about all the other ones.
That's true,
Yeah,
Did we talk about the Kappa though?
the capo, they're on the list, so just pretty much you can't put them together in the same deck. They heal 3 in 1
Basic.
turn.
Yeah,
What's
they
the
just might
development
prevent a
card
heal
do?
for
I know what the swimsuit card does,
But I mean, the card is unsearchable, like I said before, because it is a magic trait. So
Yeah.
the top decks right now, unless you're in JP is still playing Magic, but I mean, even then, it's kind of an awkward card outside of that deck.
Yeah.
And the Magic deck is not really known for finishing power.
The more
so it's just part of it.
I think isn't like the more meta deck is Sedokai, right? And that's mostly yellow red.
The Sedokai deck is pretty good because you can you generally get about 10 plus cards in memory on average.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have a better game with that. So they send everything to memory, and they got a make your own Marika combo because they got a climax combo which gives
Charles,
the character
that's good.
and itself a burn for 1, and you give it to the restander.
Yeah,
and that's only a set top play. So that's their game. Newspaper. And then you got newspaper, which all they do is just spam anti-damage, and they're a consistent deck. So that's okay, I guess.
but is that like choice just like it's just a necessary one that's there?
It's one of those relic ones from those early days of hitting stuff on the ban list.
yeah.
Because it got hit about the same time I think Rewrite got hit, and originally. And then you don't even see Rewrite on the list anymore besides the rest, but they were hitting a bunch of heal stuff.
That's just Little Busters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's Little Busters.
I'm not Little Busters. I mean, yeah, there was Rewrite was hit early on, but they're gone now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because it's really not that amazing. Because I think if you're playing an event, you're generally playing anti-damage. You're not playing the heal 2.
Yeah.
So it kind of defeats the purpose. It is the best of the other card's the best alarm effect in the game, but still, alarm is not that great in the greater scheme of things. Like
it's pretty random.
You still run it. I mean, the only thing is if you're running that, you're not running things to make your deck more consistent or operate better.
Yeah.
The Cobbles has the largest card pool, but a lot of that stuff is not that great, and it only works within its set of stuff. Like the Dalsigno, that mostly works within just that one set, and it's not that great right now. I mean, the stock charge combo is good, but they don't have enough actual finishing game yet. Besides their Chuni level 3.
Yeah. I guess, and then finally we already talked about Nisakoi. So in Persona Akanari, he needs to be there. He's dead.
Oh, so isn't that just like
it's flavorful.
Yeah, because I mean, if you can brainstorm to loop him or stuff, then you can just. I don't know if it's as loopable as it was, but
I just know some loop where you like.
You can wipe your hand.
Yeah, making them loose hand
is tear shit up like back in the early days.
No, it's just some loop where you just like Dark World your opponent and you just discard cards from their hand.
Yeah, but like I mean,
essentially the combo was you play him with the a brainstormer from Zero no Sakaima, which if you brainstorm 1 and you hit it, you salvage 2, and then you have the Ogawa playing with the Creek event from Dakapo, which you draw 2, stack 2 cards on top of your deck. So that was the combo, and they get it to infinite hand, and they use that to basically, if they get to level 1 before their opponent, your opponent loses their hand.
Wait, but what the fuck? Wait, you just named a bunch of different animes. You can't even do that shit.
No, I mean, as I say, that was the original
The
combo.
Persona combo is just like it discards it hand loops your opponent to where they discard, and I believe the character itself ends up getting hand encore or something from another character in Persona. So like you just keep like doing it over and over essentially.
It's pretty outdated though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just like one of those.
Just keep them there because they died.
Yeah.
I think they just want to play it safe and not introduce anything that could be possibly abused, especially with Persona 5 now. And I think because they wanted to stop it because of Persona Q.
I guess
it was a preemptive hit before Persona Q came out.
Yeah, I guess it's true that like Persona is kind of like if they're gonna make it so every single Persona set is like able to be mixed together, like it can cause problems in the future.
I mean, it wouldn't even work in P5 though, because P5 is Phantom Thief tree, and you wouldn't.
Yeah, it is very tree reliant, like Persona as a whole, but which is why it's so weird when they print side character cards like that, because you usually can't even use them like effectively.
Or search them out. Unless you run.
Is one of his traits like sick? It should be.
I think it's like dead, like death or whatever.
Okay.
Okay. I guess we can. If there's anything, we can talk about like what you guys thought would have been on. I thought Rewrite was gonna get hit, honestly, especially the 3/2 Kotori, just because it's represented a lot in like a lot of decks like KKK and the good stuff build.
It has been on the ban list before, so it's not a surprise if it made a return. Like no,
the 3/2 Kotori from the new set.
No, I mean like Rewrites, like the series and stuff.
Oh
like
yeah.
Yeah, I think he was just like saying like in general it's been there.
Yeah, with their Brainstormer, right, and then also the Gaia card.
Yeah, I think they were considering it, and it might have actually had something, but Vivid Strike recently has been pretty well knocking it out of the meta. That and Persona 5, just they went from being like the top 5, and then now you don't even really see much of them right now because Vivid Strike has just blown them out. Like the only one deck that's really just not.
Wait, how does Vivid do well against Persona? I'm confused about that.
Because they wall up the level 1 combo.
Oh, they have something that works against the Joker.
Wait, what? How does Vivid Strike wall?
I don't get it because Vivid Strike
at level 1.
The level 1, like Vivid Strike's level 3 would just die against the.
Well, I mean, zeros.
You can farm pretty easily off of Vivid Strike's level 1. Other than, mainly their level 1 combo, you can farm off them because it's burst power, and then it's like what 4 or 5 on my turn.
Actually, Jenna, you know what's really weird in P5 and JP land right now? They're not even running the.
Wait. I'm trying to hear Beanley. Sorry.
Like right now in P5, like in Japan land, like their deck is really weird. They're running the 1/0 change, the one that was in Austin's deck, where like you change like from the waiting room and you get like a 1/07K against like the.
Wait, they don't run 2/1 Joker?
I think they run more like gates.
Japan's interesting to me when it comes to like meta and certain things.
Japan's
sometimes like I take their lists with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get it. I feel like the Joker's a superior option, but
yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't run that.
I just don't see how like their late game just seems like it would get destroyed by Futaba, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's right now.
Stack.
I saw like a Konosuba build that was playing 8. There was a mono blue build playing 8 gates, and I'm like, what?
Oh yeah,
that was around red.
Goddess bit, yeah, Goddess build, yeah.
Very weird.
What else? Oh yeah, ReZero could have been hit too.
That actually, I kind of wondered because that was, I think, the 3rd most represented deck.
What do you think would have gotten hit?
The red, like the probably like their utility cards.
I was thinking probably.
I'm sorry, I was just gonna keep going up.
I just wonder, like,
because you can't really hit 3/2 Rem, because that's like, I mean, it is like splashable in a lot of their decks, but it's like if you hit that, then they really don't have anything. I was
thinking more just like a choose one of 2, probably with that early draft Rem and the 1/1 assist, because that has 6 effects on it.
But like that 1/1 assist is really meh though. Like it looks good on paper because there's a lot of text, and then when you actually play it, it's like, oh, this like really isn't.
It's Japan though; they're weird.
In practice, it's still pretty reasonable.
Japan's really.
I don't think ReZero is even like that good of a set. I think it's definitely one of the more overhyped sets that came out this year.
But I mean, like I said, that's if you do it on representation.
Japan.
So I don't think it's necessarily that.
Japan mostly plays blue-red ReZero, while like outside of Japan, like the U.S. and people like they play more like blue-yellow ReZero. So I think that's interesting.
Which I'm kind of surprised because the belt stuff is a lot better. I mean, I really like that combo. That's a really strong free fresh.
Yeah. And that's funny because like they're more. You think Japan would be more compression based, so they would lean towards like playing the felt, but they would rather play the RAM. So yeah. What else? I guess we can kind of end it off by saying like, what do you guys think the meta is going to shape out? Like, what would be the top decks going forward with the list?
It still is good. Anyone that doesn't think that is a fucking idiot.
Wait, what?
Because all you did was lose your anti-change sat counter.
Yeah.
Like all you lost. And you have cards that can fill in that spot, such as the 2-1 early play killer Rize. And then like you can just play, another Leafa Rize counter or something, it's like it's not that big of a hit for them. Deck is still good. I want to say Rewrite is definitely still good as well as one of the top decks. And Kimono Friend for sure is
I knew you were gonna say that as well.
Yeah, you can still say Goose Strike because they're still doing very strong over there. They're topping quite a bit.
I think
their mono green version anyway.
I would say those three for sure. I would say are like my top 3 picks for like the best decks.
Can we?
For the JP format for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rabbits should be top because that's super popular. So I assume they're just going to continue playing Red Blue.
Do you think
it's going to go top on representation alone.
Do you think some of like the reason that certain decks get the most exposure is because of how popular they are as actual anime though?
No,
like,
it's because they're free as fuck. Like their effects, like
because they're popular. I mean, they're good, but they're also popular.
If you look at like what, like ReZero, like you don't even need to reverse. Or Milky Home, you don't need to reverse. You just get the effect regardless. I think that's why a lot of people are playing those type of effects.
Well, I was gonna say like they don't have to make a popular series good for it to sell. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I understand.
Like Set One Rabbits is a perfect example of that. Set One Rabbits is very underwhelming as a base set.
Yeah.
And like it's still sold because everybody loves rabbits, And then they're like, oh wait, well people love rabbits, so now we're making
Whoa, don't use the term everyone.
Yeah. And then they're like, yeah, so now that everyone, ate up the base set, we'll make an extra booster that's, actually pretty good, and then, they'll just...
Yeah, I mean, that changed it.
We also like how the Japan meta, like how they're thinking, like, their level 2 game is, like, really, like, their serious, like, prime game, so anything that has, like, a, like, presence at level 2, they're lean towards that playing. So, like, Vivid, ReZero, Kimono, and Rabbits.
Ilya is also another example of a popular series where you don't have to make the set good for it to sell.
Persona.
Oh, I forgot that Ilya is popular. I didn't actually remember that part of the details.
Well, it's not that good, but the new X Booster is not that good, but it's also not as bad as people make it out to be because they probably just read the cards. They're like, oh, this is bad. I've never even like play tested this before. But like I played with the deck for about a month now with the new Extra Booster cards, and like it's not that bad at all. It definitely helped out the set quite a bit.
I mean, the green build for is good.
Yeah, like even like the mono green build is not that bad either, but like for like the meta build for the most part, like you got to salvage Brainstorm, which really helps the deck a lot since you can get your Kuros back now from your waiting room, so you can set up for your early plays and whatnot. And then I think the Restand is the better finisher in the set. Like Kaleidoscope is still super crazy if you get it off, but just like you have to jump through so many hoops.
You're playing a game, a game for the game.
If you do.
Yeah.
Like the Restand for Ilya is just like it's so free, and it's like definitely what they needed as a finisher because they definitely needed a better finisher.
Well, I guess with Kimono Friends, they'll have to switch over to that anyways.
No.
You can't play Kaleidoscope against that anti-burn.
A lot of decks get completely just like they get so fucked because of the Cabana memory. Like ReZero, you have finishers now. Your Amelia Restand. It's like okay, I'll just like use my cheese trap thing and bounce back my character that you're trying to reverse. Like I mean, Tomorrow Friends is so good.
Honestly,
it's gonna be pretty good because it's gonna be on a modern set. Because the last time they did it was like what Charlotte, so that's That's going to be much better see on a much more modern set at this point.
Yeah, it's a really good effect.
Charlie couldn't utilize its own anti-burn because its finishers were burners.
Well, I mean, they didn't play the finisher with that. They played the healing up and the damage strike, and they just go back and forth.
Yeah, they're definitely like super defensive though. But like Kimono, it's like you have, the utilization of you having your own anti-burn, but you not getting affected by it with your finishers.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Other than like 3-2 Ibis, but no one's gonna play the 3-2 Ibis.
So the solution is play Milky Homes because you get the burn for 4.
Yes, and restand.
Yep.
Yeah, and rewrite doesn't care because you burn for 2 on either player's turn, and rewrite can get pretty big.
There's definitely some sets that definitely don't get affected by it, but a majority of sets are definitely affected by not being able to burn for 1.
It's kind of annoying for real because that means my music pros you can't say healer.
See, most sets I play actually don't give a fuck about Kimono Friends. So.
But I guess I play restanders too, so I just play.
Yeah, you have
another restander if I had to.
Yeah, you have signs still for your other finisher in Railgun.
I just think Kimono's gonna be really annoying to deal with because it has not only anti-burn, but it still has like a regular free rest counter. Like it's the only rest counter that has no condition.
I feel like some sets there's a very wide pool of sets that are gonna actually hate it.
And then it has
at the same time, you have to actually play against it, and if it doesn't get a lot of exposure, then it's not gonna have too much of an issue. But we shall see.
And honestly, I take Japan's deck list with a grain of salt because you see shit where they don't even run any runners in their deck or whatever. And they run vanillas or some shit like that instead, or oversized.
How about those Kantai decks where they only run 2 Akatsuki? Yep, we won.
I mean, some people in English still do it, and they still somehow win.
In my Kimono Friends build, I'm not playing any runners for yellow green at least. Mostly
do they have a mill runner?
They have a free runner in the TD plus.
I don't care too much about free runners though.
And they're good for sure, but I don't know. I just don't have space for it in my deck.
Yeah.
And the other cards, in my opinion, offer more utility throughout the entire course of the game, such as the top check servo.
Yeah. And that gets a soul.
And it gets a soul in the middle for whatever reason, and that is actually really dumb. I played it last weekend. I played it in the middle, played a climax, and sided for 2 over level 1. Oh yeah, definitely fair.
Oh, cause you triggered, so yeah. Or
the climax, I had her in the middle, and it was so she has 3 soul basically.
Yeah. Let's see. You know what I realized though? Sets like IMS, OG IMS, that used to be a really I would have considered a top 5 deck a year ago, but now it's it's still good.
It's still pretty strong. I know it's not top 5.
Yeah.
I mean the level 1 Haruka is still
annoying.
One of the best.
Yeah.
It's funny as not can still run over her with no problems. Oh man.
His hard counters Milky Home's pretty bad though.
Yeah. And I guess with rabbits, if they want to run green yellow, they can splash that Coco build. I mean the Coco backup.
Yeah, that anti-change backup. You can literally play it in every other build, and it's pretty much that choice only for Rabbit House, but then the other decks can still play the anti-change stat counter for an anti-change stat counter.
And upcoming.
Yeah, the free fresh backup.
Let's see. What are the next upcoming sets? What's after Kimono Friends? Hina Logic, right? No.
On Trash 2.
GX. No, Symphogear is next.
Attack on Trash 2.
Oh yeah, no, isn't Symphogear next?
No, wait, isn't Sympho coming?
Yeah, they're spoiling Symphogear cards.
Is that gonna do anything? Probably not.
I mean, they've been getting some good cards.
They got more runners, so they can play 8
runners. Set or an EV?
Yeah, they had a reprint card.
It's a full EV. I mean, it's a full booster. It's a full booster. My bad.
My new set is old cards that were hard to get.
Wait, they reprinted old cards? What the heck?
Their runner was absurd amount of money, and then they just reprinted another mill runner with a different name.
So you can run 8 mill
good
runners.
if they got a mill runner? I mean, it still sounds good.
I mean, you already had a mill runner, and like just.
Yeah, but maybe it's helping the poor people, Jimmy.
Again, give me cards with new effects, not reprinted effects. Like, I don't know. That's my point of view of it.
Would you rather have like a shitty card than have like a good
Be like the Taco when you had to pay for like $25 pants Lance Climaxes.
Like it's accessibility. It's like an accessibility that lets you get a foil, and like it's a good card, isn't it? Would you rather just have a shitty card sitting there? That's how I see it. I mean, I don't play that set, so I don't really care.
Would you rather get a good card that's new rather than an old card that's been pretty much reprinted?
Well, what slot did they put it in?
Is it rare?
Yeah, it's just a rare.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. You never know. You never know
That's
what the card
actually...
that could have been is going to be. So it's like a what if scenario.
Yeah.
True. Got me there.
It's like they could have been like, okay, this rare is going to be a fucking the dumbest shit ever. Like not even good. Like I can't even think of an example because I'm so tired. But just imagine if they had like some crappy ass like fucking like 6K that can't side attack, and they made that a rare. Like, there you go. That used to be a fucking thing. 6Ks that can't side attack.
Yeah, Archer.
But no, I'm pretty sure that card's a 7/5 when you actually play it though.
1-0 Archer?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, that one. Okay, I was thinking about the other one.
Do you guys have any concluding thoughts for like the ban list in general?
Hashtag free monogonery.
Don't hit kimono friends ever.
We got a little wild for that, even if they were going to.
I mean, people were hated on it before even they started spoiling cards. For no apparent reason.
What's the first card they spoiled for that? I don't know. When I saw that silver restand, I was just like, yep, this set's gonna be fucking good. And I was like, holy shit.
Jimmy, do you have a hard on for restands?
when it's basically free, yes.
Fair. That's fair.
When I don't have to reverse, yes.
I just don't personally like restanders. Like, I'd rather be a defensive deck than run a restander.
Yeah, you start to get iffy when you keep on
I've also come from the age of Love Live 3/2 yellow restand climax combo on a 2K1 draw, so it's like the restand from when
I remember that. Oh my god, I used to play that shit.
From when I started playing to the restands now, it's just is such
privilege.
a big mark.
Are you talking about the fucking one with all the girls where you had to clock yourself to play it? Or to use it?
Yourself to restand.
Yeah,
you have to reverse.
I played that shit for a little while when it was new.
Yeah, the heel was basically offset at the restand.
Reverse
Jeez.
for 2K1 draw.
I remember when I used to homebrew all my decks and I used to play the fucking nose of me grab from deck card. I used to play the Nico, I clock kick, Otaku card and pay shit 6,000 fucking stock. It was fun. It was a simpler time.
It was a simple time. Where all I had to do was play LA Clones and my Global Umi 500 Brainstorm.
No, fuck that card. It's so good.
It's so outdated.
Doesn't Kimono have a card that's just like it?
Yeah, it's not outdated because Kimono has it and it's Rest Cells instead of Rest 2.
Yeah, that's why it's better.
And that's why it's better.
It's even in the same color as well.
It's for the future because Kaban goes and finds all the friends used for
and NECA.
Wait, is the Brainstormer Lucky Sun or is it Kaban?
It's Kaban. There is a Brainstormer Lucky, but it's in the TD. It's
it's a draw 2. Or draw one.
Yeah.
Fucking number, or just draw one.
Yeah, just draw one.
It's the standard fare. I hope that the Love Life one doesn't get one of those. Please.
What if Yoshiko gets it and now Yoshiko gets a print?
I would be happy because then I have a Brainstormer for my waifu deck, but at the same time.
See, this is why you just have Ruby as your waifu, and it's
but then Jenna, you'll be able to draw into your climaxes for your Yoshiko, your level 3 Yoshiko combo, if you haven't already.
I just want Brainstormer in general. I prefer a draw 2, drop 1/1 because I like those, and those are pretty spicy lately. But I don't think it's
not everything can be Dia.
They did a good job on the new draw brainstorm with the Daya and the Kirijo.
I honestly would take a fucking backup in the TV Plus too. I really don't care as long as it's one of the things I need.
Do you have any closing thoughts, Terry, about the ban list?
Nope, I think I already said my part.
Alright, I guess with all this changes, it'll be an interesting... What? I wouldn't even really say interesting, because it's like pretty much the same thing.
It's like,
yeah, I wanted like a bloodbath, and there wasn't really that much shakeup, to be honest. It was kind of like what people expected to happen. I don't think anybody expected the Rocket to come off, but I know people were saying such and such cards should come off, so they just like, probably had it on the list there somewhere, someone was saying it, but...
I think you can definitely expect a bloodbath on the next ban list after the WGP season.
Yeah.
Since that seems like, everything, all the tournaments for the year have been played, results are all in.
Yeah, that's very true. I just know that everything I play will never get hit. Like, I have a very heavy, like, certainty that it will never, because it doesn't get very much exposure.
I'm honestly scared if, like, Kimono gets hit on the next list.
Yeah, I was just say, see, that's what
he doesn't play it for a freaking
I was like, my set's never gonna get hit, and then it's like, oh, CG2 got hit, fuck. And now it's like,
knowing them,
it's your fault, Jimmy, because you like casual shit. Basically.
Knowing Bushiroad, they probably would hit the Ricky Kaban, like as a pick list.
But I don't feel like they wouldn't. Like, it sounds like a pretty oppressive card on keeper, but it also, I don't think they'll outright hit it. I think they'd do a choose, but is there even anything like strong enough in Kimono for you to have to choose between?
Several we stand in the 0-0.
Kaban. Yeah, that'd be fair, though, to be honest.
I think we're already predicting like fucking bans for a set that came out 3 days ago.
Yeah. Like that type of it is. You're already speculating banless for it.
That's just how like boring this ban list was. Well, I guess with that being said, make sure to place your bets, and yeah, thank you guys for watching. All right, it's done.